The greatest Mortal Kombat game of all time. Today we settle everything with the final definitive tier list. I am the king of Mortal Kombat tier lists. No other YouTuber can match my experience. I am a professional at clicking JPEGs and placing them on a chart. But even so, let me know your tier list in the comments section down below. And without any further ado, let's begin. Alright, so first up, let's start with the bottom tier because it's really easy to figure out which games are trash. First up, we have Special Forces. I've actually covered this game entirely in my own separate video, which is a banger by the way. I recommend you pause this video, open a new tab, watch that video, and then come back here. Because it's a good video, I'm just saying, but the game, not so good. In fact, it's borderline terrible, and some say this game actually helped tank Midway and killed the franchise for a bit. It flopped, in other words. A lot of people didn't even know this game existed, and the people who did know about it and bought it hated it, so there you go. Next up, we have Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. I like this game as a novelty, but you will never catch me playing it because the reality is the controls are intentionally difficult and it's very frustrating. Now for this one game, I understand some people do love this game. In fact, Ketchup and Mustard speedrun this game, and I love those guys, and I love the speedrunning, I appreciate it, but this game at the end of the day is overall not good to most people. So Mortal Kombat Gold. I would say this game aged poorly, but it's not terrible. At the time, a lot of people loved it. Me, myself, I was putting tons of quarters in the arcade machine, okay? I enjoyed this game, and the 3D graphics blew my mind as a child, okay? I couldn't comprehend polygons. It was fantasy to me. It was science fiction. It was incredible. Of course, Mortal Kombat 4 is going behind Mortal Kombat Gold because it's the less updated version. All right, so how about good for their time? I'm gonna say Deadly Alliance. I still enjoy this game, but as far as the 3D era games go, most people prefer Deception and consider it to be more timeless. In fact, where is Deception? I'll just put it up there right now. Let's put Deception in great overall because it's got a ton of content. It has conquest mode. It offers a lot more features than Deadly Alliance, but Deadly Alliance also still a great game, and depending on who you ask, some people do prefer Deadly Alliance because the roster is different. It has different playable characters. Despite Deception being so amazing as far as gameplay, a lot of people do hate the roster because a lot of the favorites got replaced because they're canonically dead, and a lot of the new characters are memed on for being hated. Don't forget, Deception gave us Cobra, Kira, Dairo, Darius, all those hated characters. But then again, Deadly Alliance gave us Su Hao, so they can't talk too much smack, can they? Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Here's a tricky one. I'm gonna hold off on that, actually, for now, because it's too hard to pick. Shaolin Monks. I'm gonna go ahead and say great overall for Shaolin Monks 2. I don't think it's gonna be in the best of the best. Some people can hate me for that, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's more of a novelty experience, right? It's fun to have a beat 'em up version of Mortal Kombat, and the co-op makes it even better. I do kind of wish they'd make a new game like this, but only as a mode in a future Mortal Kombat game. That could be pretty sick. All right, the original Mortal Kombat. This one is gonna get me in some hot water. Some people might consider this a trash take. I would say the very first Mortal Kombat game is good for its time. The reality is most people can play this game for a month and you've discovered pretty much all there is to do in the game and you're gonna get bored and move on to something else. That is genuinely how I feel about it. I'm picturing going to an island and only being allowed to bring a certain amount of games, and the reality is I'm not going to pick Mortal Kombat 1. Great for its time. Once again, it was a marvel at the time. It was really, really cool, but it's aged not so great. It's still the classic though, so we gotta leave it at good for its time. And the same is also true for Mortal Kombat 2. In fact, I would argue most people would rather play Mortal Kombat 2 than Mortal Kombat 1. So shockingly enough, I think I have to put it in front of the original Mortal Kombat just because if you had a choice to only play one of them, you're probably gonna pick Mortal Kombat 2. It's just got more characters, more stages, more moves, all that stuff. All right, but enough messing around. Then we have the Mortal Kombat trilogy. This game, I would say, is one of the best of all because this game took everything good from the previous games and just added every character that had ever been playable before, including the boss characters, which is so sick. There's also more game modes to mess around with, more fatalities, the gore was better. It's just an all-around better experience. It is the peak of classic Mortal Kombat. There is seriously no reason not to pick this game over any other classic Mortal Kombat game because it's the best of all three. Even though Mortal Kombat Trilogy is a very old game, it stands the test of time, and nobody who's a true Mortal Kombat fan would tell you that it's not one of the best games ever made, even though it is very old. Now on the flip side, we have Mortal Kombat 9. This game is also one of the best of its kind. To this day, many players will argue this is the best game that NetherRealm's ever made. And I think a big part of that is the roster, because after covering several characters and making several guides and throwback videos, I'm gonna be honest, there's some jank in that game. There's some wonky hitboxes, hurt boxes, and weird glitches. So the more you dig into it, the more you see its flaws. But at the same time, we got tag team battle, we got the challenge tower, all that fun stuff. And the roster, once again, is amazing. At the casual level, it's a really good game, and it honestly can't be beat. And don't forget the story mode. Most people argue this game has the best story mode, though to be fair, they're kind of cheating because it's covering the first 3 games, so MK Trilogy kind of takes the W for the story mode, right? But how about the game that ended it all? The finale to the series, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Definitely one of the best games ever made, and let me explain to you why. Let me plead my case. Not only does Armageddon have every single character that's ever been playable in any Mortal Kombat game, but it also has tons of modes. We're talking combat kart, we're talking chess combat, we're talking a beat 'em up conquest mode, and even Create a Fighter, which I feel like not enough people talk about. Create a Fighter is absurdly good, considering it's the first time they ever attempted it, and it offers you everything, every single special move, every attack string, every normal attack, all the different physical appearance customization, so much cool stuff. You can spend hours in Create a Fighter. It's really fun. So in a way, this game is very similar to Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Why would you buy any other 3D game when this one has the most modes and every single character you could ever want to play? I do understand the argument that Deception has better gameplay and more stances and the characters are more balanced. I get that. But once again, if I'm stranded on an island, if I'm forced to walk the plank and the pirate captain tells me, hey, you can only take 3 games with you, I'm picking Armageddon as one of those Mortal Kombat games for sure. But how about Mortal Kombat X? Because here's the impossible question. Is Mortal Kombat X better or is Mortal Kombat 9 better? Mortal Kombat X has the variation system, it's more aggressive, it has the run mechanic, but Mortal Kombat 9 has the better roster. In fact, it has the perfect roster. I dare anybody to argue that. And Mortal Kombat X doesn't have tag team battle, and some people don't like the living towers. They prefer the traditional challenge tower of MK9. Now, honestly, they're both good for their own reasons. I'm not gonna pick a side there. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's really hard to pick which of these 2 games is better. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and say MKX, but that's my opinion because I love to learn about the characters. I love to discover tech and just dive into characters and learn absolutely everything. And in that one regard, MKX just wins. The characters have way more attacks, way more moves overall. I can spend hours in training mode learning just one character and how they work. So I adore Mortal Kombat X for that reason. But don't get it twisted, MK9 still has the better characters. I like the art style more too in MK9. The colors are just way more fun. The stages are better too. It's got way better music. So in a lot of ways, MK9 wins. All right, but next up we have Mortal Kombat versus DC. This one's tough because everyone memes on this game for being terrible. Here's the thing. It's actually not bad. It had a competitive scene, and while the story mode is goofy, it's still entertaining and it's fun to watch and go through, and it's also where the story mode format came from. So if you enjoy the chapter system of the Mortal Kombat games, that started with Mortal Kombat versus DC. So there's the issue, right? Everyone hates this game, but at the same time, most people haven't even played it. They just hate the idea of Mortal Kombat without gross fatalities. And look, I get that, I understand, but at the same time, Batman versus Scorpion, that's so cool. Sub-Zero versus Superman, Catwoman versus Katana, that's all so fun and goofy, I love it. And once again, the gameplay gets more advanced than you think. There's actually some pretty crazy combos and tech in this game that high-level players discovered, so there's stuff there. But the issue is, I don't think any of these labels for the tiers really work. Can I put it in great overall? Because most people hate it, but I feel like it offers a lot of fun stuff. And yeah, it's goofy, but there's stuff to it. I'll just put good for their time, and I'll put it at the very back. How about that? All right, but now we have one final game, Mortal Kombat 11. This may shock you. I'm gonna get angry comments for this one, absolutely. I would say it's great overall, in front of Deception, but behind Shaolin Monks. And please understand that I've been playing this game and covering it for like 5 years now. I enjoy Mortal Kombat 11, and I think it did a lot of things correctly, but also several things poorly. The crushing blow system is really annoying. The fatal blow mechanic is super casual and frustrating. Replacing Combo Breaker with Breakaway was an interesting idea, but it doesn't work overall, and am I the only one who doesn't get it half the time when I want it to come out? Like, I'll do down and block, and I just don't get Breakaway when I need it, and it's super frustrating. It's just not very responsive. Mortal Kombat 11 is a good game. In fact, it's a great game. That's why I put it in the great tier list. Do not misunderstand. I'm just saying that compared to its brethren, it just doesn't quite measure up. In fact, I'm very tempted to put it in front of Shaolin Monks, but I feel like all of you would hate me if I did that. Because Shaolin Monks is one of a kind, right? It's an actual diamond. You can't compare it to anything else, so by default, it's the best in its class, but I don't think it's one of the best games ever made, so I'm not gonna put it in the top row. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, but hopefully at the very least you understand my thought process on ranking these games. And there's still a few left that I have to mention. So this is also Mortal Kombat Trilogy. What's the difference? It's on PlayStation instead of like this one console. I don't know the difference between like which console they were on and how they played any different. Do I just put it with it like that? Is that what I do? And then same for MK3, right? MK3 is like God tier. I would say MK3 is just great overall, right? Like what's the difference here? I can't tell the difference between these. Oh, one's ultimate and one's regular. Okay, good. The advance is right here. I never played this game. I never played Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy Advance, so I can't give an honest opinion, but wait. Is this the game that everyone hates? Like it plays horribly? Is that the Game Boy Advance one that's like garbage and impossible to win? If so, I could just put it in not good. But once again, I've never played a Mortal Kombat game on a mobile platform at all. Like on a handheld, I've never done it at all. You know what? I'm just gonna do that because I feel like everybody online disagrees with me, and even though this is my tier list, at the end of the day I'm trying to make a definitive tier list that most people will agree with. So I think if most people disagree with me, then I'm probably wrong. So there you have it, everyone, the ultimate Mortal Kombat tier list. And now we know once and for all which Mortal Kombat game is the best of all time, at least until Mortal Kombat 12 gets here, which hopefully is a banger, but it could also flop and be terrible. What if it's MK11 2.0? Woof. Can you imagine how salty a lot of players would be? I like MK11, so I wouldn't be too upset because it would be super easy to just keep playing MK12 with all the knowledge I have from MK11, but it would upset so many people. Once again, everyone, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What does your tier list look like? And hey, while you're down there typing away, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It does help my channel out a ton. Then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.